Hello, I'm Chanel and today we're looking at the Spread Crafters Oracle by Kimberly M Tsan. So this is a deck that I purchased off Etsy. It was $100 Australian and then $38 Australian to ship, so about 140 bucks. So there are 86 cards in this deck and 5 categories. So the outside of the box is rose petal finish and then you've got some shiny embossing. That's the inside of the box. I'll take the cards out, so that's what it looks like. It comes with just a title card, I guess, and then here you've got a quick start guide to the different categories that are in there, and with the call to action there are subcategories for that one. So this is the guidebook. The guidebook has a rose petal finish. It is glossy and it is black and white. So you've got some information about the deck. It's changed its name. You've got the backstory for how the deck was created, the Kickstarter journey, how the idea came to the creator. So it's got a lot of info on the genesis of this deck. So this is about spread crafting in general, the basics. So they're talking about all the categories here, and then they're expanding upon the categories and the subcategories as well, and what this deck can be used for. So all the different ways besides spread crafting as well. But in terms of spread crafting, there is a lot of information. So they've got all the different steps involved in spread crafting, positions, themes, even formations of the deck. They've also got some information there on finalizing it. Then some ideas of different categories that you could do together, reverse engineering the spread, and activities as well. So there's lots of little activities to do and suggestions, and then actual spreads that are done as well, showing you what some ideas could be. So there's quite a lot, and there's also prompts and ideas too of other spreads, and then a full list of the cards. So that is the guidebook. Here you have, these are the backs of the cards. So they are rainbow with some white drawings, and they are reversible upside and top side. So this deck comes in this lilac matte edging. So this is matte. The cardstock seems to be a rose petal, and it is a standard tarot size, I believe. So let's have a look at the cards. They are not in order. I have already shuffled them and played with the deck a little bit. But let's just take a look at the cards. Okay, so this book does not have a guidebook, but I just wanted to show you an example of the different color stories that are associated with some of the different areas. So you've got seeker, success, and expansion. Here we've got focus area, processing. So normally you get a keyword, and then underneath you'll get either some questions that you could journal prompt with, or some statements. So those are just some examples of the cards, but I'll get back to you with how I used this deck. Hello, so let's look at my review portion. So the box, lovely, beautiful rose petal, wonderful quality, love it. This sort of card, don't know what the point of that one is. The quick start guide, that's helpful, especially if you want to utilize the deck in certain ways. So like I said, they've got different categories, and then there's also subcategories, 2Z categories. So let's just have a look at the outside before I start talking about the deck. I love the lilac edging, matte edging. I think it's gorgeous. I love that. The backs are really cute, and generally I do like rose petal decks. So I'll show you what I pair this with before I go into my review. So the tarot that I paired it with is the Tarot of Oneness. So I'll just pop that over here. And the oracle is the Sacred Creators Oracle. So I'll pop that on this side. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about the guidebook. Beautiful rose petal outside, lovely. Glossy pages on the inside. So this is a lot about how the deck was created. So there's lots of like backstory about it. Then it talks about the categories in here as well as the subcategories, that they're color coded. And then it goes into a bit more information about each of the categories as well. And then it goes into how to use the deck. So the intent of this deck, firstly, the main intent is to be used as a spread creator. So using the cards to create actual spreads. So there's a lot of information about how to create spreads and some activities with examples of which cards to use in those activities, as well as some layouts and which cards to use in those layouts. So a lot of information in there. So first of all, let's talk about the aesthetics of this deck. I like them. I think it's very cute. It's very pretty. It's very palatable. I'm a sucker for anything that's kind of cosmic in nature, and these cards definitely have a cosmic element to them. I just realized now that these are all upside down. And I love that each different card has a different color background. So it just adds something a bit more rather than just text. So as you can see on the cards there, the category is down below. So focus areas have that, and then you've got shadow work down here. I thought this paired well with these two decks. This is obviously very similar, and this has a kind of aesthetic that goes with the color scheme of this deck in particular. This deck does not shuffle well. The rose petal makes it very clumpy. So you can't riffle shuffle this deck, and even overhanded, it does clump. So sometimes with this deck, if I want to use it as an oracle pull, so not as using it to create a spread, and I just want a like sort of word of the day, I might just go through it one by one and see which card feels right. Because it's not great if you're a shuffler and you like to have the cards popping out. It's not good for that one. In terms of creating spreads, I think it works. So sometimes I will just pull one card. Sweetheart, no. I would pull one card, and then I would use the sentences to create spreads. I might just say, so this one says, how will you choose to shine and grow with potential? So what is my potential? How can I achieve that potential? And what is the outcome of achieving my potential? Like I might just expand upon the other sentences that are in here. This one has obviously 3 keywords that you could use. So in that way, I did find it very helpful. Obviously, one of the ways is that you can, if you want to do, like for instance, you want to do shadow work that day, you could look at all of the shadow work cards that are in there and decide which ones are the ones that you want to work with. Same here in terms of, say, expansion, purging. You might want to look at all the cards that are in the expansion categories and pull from there. You could just shuffle and pull out 3 cards and use that as a spread. So you'd say, you know, behavior, how do I express my feelings? And then you'll have persona, how do I choose to present myself? And then release. So they talk a lot too about the placements of the cards in terms of where you place it. If you say you're doing past, present, future, all that sort of thing, 1, 2, 3. So look, it does have a lot of uses. You can use it as just a one card pull as an oracle. So I found that it did work for that. You can absolutely use it as a clarifying card. So use it to clarify something. You can use it to create spreads. Obviously, that's what it's used for in many different ways. My personal favorite was just pulling a random card and using that as the spread theme. But I also did do some of the suggested activities in the book, so I'll show you that later. But I did enjoy my time with it. I don't think it's something I would use a lot. It's definitely something if I'm like, okay, I actually don't know what to read about today. Sometimes that does happen. I don't want to just a general, what's your message for me today? I'm like, I kind of want a spread, but I don't want to sit there scrolling Pinterest to find a spread. So this would be very helpful in just pulling that out. I also am a bit of a word of the day girly. So I do love that, but I think this could work. I'd leave this one in my bedroom. And if I just want to pull a word from the day while I'm in bed, I could use it for that as well. And this could also help when people come over for readings and they don't know what they want to read about. And I don't feel like doing just a general message, because that does rely on me to channel a bit more and use my intuition. Whereas I could just pull a card on from this deck for them and say, okay, which of these sentences do you feel called to? So I do like it. I think it's great quality. Like I said, obviously it doesn't, I wish it shuffled a bit better. I do love rose petal. Some rose petals shuffled just fine. This one does not. This one was clumpy. Maybe over time it would get less clumpy. Because I'm thinking maybe even the edging might be clumping it together. I'm not sure. But I do enjoy it. I don't love it, to be honest with you. That's just because most of my decks I do use as a divination tool or an oracle pull, and I love reading really profound messages that, you know, send tingles up my spine, and this obviously does not do that. There is no expansion upon the compassion card besides what you see here and then what you would read in the light work category. But like I said, I got it because I wanted something that I could just pull out when I didn't know what I wanted to talk about, or I'm not sure what area that I need work on, you know, like what would benefit me right now. And then you can pull from that and create spreads from that. So sometimes I am just a bit sort of like lost on what to think about, to work on, to explore, to call out, to get messages for. So this works. This also would definitely work, for instance, if you want to do a start of the week or monthly, you know, theme. What is the theme of this month or the theme of this week? It's great for that. If you want to pick your word of the year, that's another way that you could use it. But I will show you now the one of the spreads so you can see sort of how it works. So I'm going to do this reframe negative beliefs one, which is shadow work session. So you could split it up by the categories. I am just going to choose any card and see if that works that way. Otherwise, you might want to choose a card from the seeker for the seeker position. But let's have a look at what I get. Okay, so let's see. For number one, it said, who am I right now, or what situation am I faced with? And I got the universe. Messages from the universe or my higher power. How am I being supported? What is the bigger picture? How can I strengthen my connection to the divine? So in this case, I would say that this is more a situation I'm facing with. I may have to, saying, connect to my higher self and strengthen my connection to my spiritual team. Limiting beliefs. What is a negative belief or toxic pattern that you have right now that I'm holding back? And this, I got natural shadow work one, which probably works best for limiting beliefs. Problematic behavior. What toxic behaviors from me or others are present in my life, or what needs to be acknowledged and dealt with? And then reframe. How can you reframe your negative belief? And here we have motivation. What fuels my productivity, momentum, or drive, lighting up my inner fire? This also could be a hidden or unconscious desire that is driving your actions. So I would use these in this area, and then I would shuffle my tarot and my oracle, and I'll just do that now just to show you. Okay, so as you can see, these are the cards I pulled for this. So with the universe, who am I right now, or what situation am I dealing with? I've got trying to connect to my higher self with the Ten of Pentacles. That is like my ideal life, I guess, my dream life. So maybe working with my high self to bring my dream into fruition is what I'm currently working with doing. What are the limiting factors in this situation that could be holding me back? And I've got the Fool. So in this case, I've looked at the Fool in reverse and the qualities of the Fool in reverse. So maybe I'm scared to, leap off. Maybe I've got fears and doubts, and I'm not tapping into that kind of positive, youthful energy, and I'm not being carefree enough. So that would be my problematic behavior. And then for motivation, how can I reframe my negative beliefs? This is saying like, what's stoking your inner fire? And it's King of Pentacles. And that is like what I'd want to embody. The King of Pentacles and all of their qualities, it sort of ties in with the dream life that I'm hoping to achieve. Obviously, I resonate more with the Queen, but it's the same sort of situation. This is your motivation. This is what you want. You want the stability and to be a provider and to have a legacy and to, have attainment and all of that kind of success. Use this as a motivation to just take the leap and do what needs to be done and not to be worried or fearful, and also to link up with my spirit team. I don't have to do this on my own. I can have support in attaining this and becoming this. So that's just one example of, I guess, how you can use this deck. I think it is better utilized if you're going to the specific categories. If you want to do shadow work, look at the shadow work cards and that sort of thing. So this was the Spread Crafters Oracle. I am going to keep it in my possession for now. I'm not sure about the longevity of this deck. I might end up doing my time with it and then wanting to move it on, because it's not something I love. As much, like, for instance, I have the other Word of the Day one, but it depends how much am I going to use it. Am I actually going to use it a lot? So time will tell with that. I'll give it a year to see how many times I wanted to pull it out and either spread craft with it or clarify with it, or just, pull a Word of the Day. We'll see how it actually goes. But at the moment, I am enjoying it and will be keeping it in my collection. So that is everything. I hope that wherever you are having a spectacular morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, stay wild, Star Child.